Let's go, Nag. Don't let me down, mate. I've talked you up so much. You've got to smash this now like a pro. Let's go. 1, 2, storm! 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 There we go! We got it! Yep, there it is. There it is. He knows. He knows. And he storms the bejesus out of those SCVs. Hey guys, Rapid Roo here, and welcome back to another Starcraft Broodwar action cast. So today we have a Protoss versus Zerg. It is a C Rank clash from the No Worries ladder tournament. The replay came to me from my friend Nagnar, who is playing Protoss today. This is on Neo Silphid, and he is playing against a Terran whose name I'm about to pronounce as Cavapoo, and I can't now unsay that. That's just what's happened. For the rest of the game though, I'm going to refer to him as Yellow, and Protoss I'm going to refer to as Protoss. Alright, so some PVT action here. I'm very excited. If you are excited as well, please hit the like button. And if you subscribe to the channel, I will bless your children with Siege Mode. Alright, so very, very excited. Let's get into this game. I think it is going to be an absolute cracker. So, for those of you that don't know, the No Worries League is a league of foreign Brood War players that get together and pair themselves up based on their ladder rank. They play a tournament and it progresses eventually to a knockout stage. We're still in the round 1 phase of this tournament. It is a very, very exciting opportunity and place to learn from and enjoy participating in Starcraft Broodwar with like-minded people. I myself am part of this community and really, really enjoy it. If you're interested in that sort of thing, then follow some of the links in my description below to get into the right Discord, and off you go. It's going to be great. Okay, so we have sped through some of the initial goodies in the game. We've just had a standard factory opening from our Terran, and we have just got a standard range 1 gate opening thus far from our Protoss. So no shenaniganry yet. I don't see a Citadel, I don't see a Nexus first, I don't see any of that sort of rubbish. And on this side we just see a standard opening. We've got our 3 Marines that will probably be going into the bunker once the command center goes down. Alright, so it looks like Terran is wanting to maybe block the expansion here. Looks like a 23 Nexus that Nagnar wants to take, although he's just run straight past his SCV, like he's not too bothered. So maybe potentially wants to put... Okay! So this I did miss. I missed the initial Zealot and the slight delay of the Cybernetics core. Although this Zealot has achieved about as much as I did in higher grade maths at school. Absolutely jack. Alright, so let's see. We are moving into the next phase as predicted. This goon is going to target the SCV, man. The SCV, the one building the bunker. Alright, so the bunker is up. The command center will follow soon. I expect the Nexus for the Protoss is already going. Whew! That was an action-packed start to the game. Annoyed with myself that I missed the Zealot, although as it turns out it did not matter 1 iota because the Zealot achieved nothing. What you do want to do as a Protoss is force the first machine shop upgrade to be siege mode. One of the benefits of this is it affords you as the Protoss the opportunity to expand and take a 3rd place with no harassment from vultures and no mines that you need to deal with. What tends to happen is if a Terran scouts a 2 gate opening or just early Dragoon pressure, even if it's from 1 gate with a delayed Nexus, the first upgrade they go for does tend to be siege mode. However, in this game, with the command center already being up, and I think Terran expecting that the pressure from Nagnar is all but over, or likely just to come from 1 gateway while he's doing his own expansion, he's decided that he's safe enough. He's just confirming the command center. He doesn't like getting shot in the face, but that's very sloppy, losing that Dragoon. And now I think he would feel even more safe that he's gone mines first as opposed to going siege mode. Okay, so Terran is safe. He needs to do a worker transfer because this command center has been down for quite a while. There we go. Alright, and on the Protoss side, we're a little bit ahead on workers. Our observatory is coming up. We're on 2 gate obs, which is probably the most standard opening you can get in a Protoss versus Terran. With the next step probably going to be looking at taking a 3rd base. So unlikely that we're going to have fat amounts of action at this phase of the game. It is good for us to look at build orders. I think it's something that I always enjoy looking, studying, and trying to understand. So looks like an early armory as opposed to an eBay or academy, which means that Terran is not feeling any threat from a potential DT rush or attack of any kind, and therefore prioritizing his armory so that he can start those mech upgrades ASAP. Sometimes what you'll see is the armory gets delayed because Terran feels the need to put up an engineering bay so that they can have turrets to block any drops from Reaver harassment or anything in terms of DTs. But what we're seeing here looks like is we're going to have an early push. A 3 tank, 4 marine, 3 vulture push on Protoss, and I think considering the amount of goons Nagnar lost early, this isn't a bad idea, although the micro here needs to be really good from Terran, because if he doesn't keep his army together, the Dragoons are always going to pick off the straggling unit. Like this tank potentially is obzo in the right place, but once those mines are gone, then these tanks get exposed. Siege mode's not done yet, so he's going to try and fight these in tank mode, and I think that's a mistake. His army's got split apart, and this is now a big problem, and this push, if one could call it that, is over. He cannot now continue to push. I think he also got an eye on how many goons there were, although what he did do, which I missed, bad caster, is he managed to slip these vultures in, and they're putting mines down, which is such a pain. Ow. Don't on the ow. Probes. Mines. Ow. That was good play. And a very profitable move out because he moved his tanks back, didn't lose anything, got some mines in the main, and killed some probes. So very much an even game at this stage. And considering Protoss is not yet on a third, I would say Terran is probably ahead. Alright, so okay, so we're getting our SCVs going again. I think Nagnar, recognizing the need to get a third ASAP, has taken this one. This map has got the worst third base locations. This is a half a base. There's a fraction of the gas and the minerals on a normal base. This is a mineral only. The good ones are over here, which is very close to your opponent, or over there, which is where Terran is just laying a mine, because that's people that play Protoss on this map a lot, is generally where you try and take your third. Alright, so Nag's moving out with a control group of goons. As there's too many tanks though, and the tanks have moved forward, his observer spots this, and he wisely decides to pull back. I think keeping a part of goons forward is good. It helps you pick off vultures as they're moving out, and just gives you visibility on when the Terran is moving out, because as a Protoss, if you allow this mech army, no matter how big it is, to move forward to a point in front of your natural, like here, then you are just dead. And that's as simple as that. The mech units, particularly in siege mode, are just too powerful, and coming out in single file without any ability to flank is just it's just impossible, for lack of a better term. Okay, so 41 workers to 42. What's the tech progression? So let's see, we've got 4 gates, we've got a robotics facility, which implies that Reavers and speed shuttles could be a thing. I haven't seen any Reavers in the production tab yet. I do see a shuttle. Is there a Reaver around? No. Is a Reaver going to get made? I'm not sure. Alright, so Nag's moving his units around, but they're just out of range of the siege tanks, giving him that visibility. And he's positioning now to take a 4th. Is he going to try and take it here? Where's this probe going? We'll get back to that now. Okay, so we have a shuttle with nothing in it. Where's the Reaver? That's an observer. Okay, I don't know what he wants to put in the shuttle. It's a mystery, which we will soon have the answers to. Okay, so this is a nice spread of Dragoons. I think it's to maybe try and reduce some more harassment over here from vultures. I think it's to try and reduce the areas with which Terran can move its vultures if he's trying to position to take bases potentially on this side of the map. This probe is just having his leap. I don't know what his job is, but he's not doing it very well. Okay, so it looks like a bulldog-esque type attack potentially coming up, where some zealots are going to be dropped in here. There are no turrets or anything, no anti-air except these four marines, excuse me, and potentially dropping these in a good position to trigger off some mines. So I think that's the plan. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, okay, so one died, but this one's on top. Very good job. This one's on top. Oh, that was a very profitable. You got 2 tanks for that, and you had to trade 4 zealots. I think that's a good trade. Zealots are basically free, as they say. Alright, so Nags on 117, Cavapoo on 89. Still pretty even. I don't think you could say that any player is far ahead or far behind. I think this is a very competitive game, very close from both players. Not too dynamic. You're not seeing huge amounts of unit varieties. I don't see a tech tree to arbiters yet. I don't see a Templar archives yet. Theirs are just coming up now. It'll be interesting to see if a Stargate follows this. I'll be also curious to know if there. Okay, so we do have +1, so there is a forge somewhere. Got some workers that are not working. I think that's potentially a rally issue. We've got a nice surround of ground units here, which is boxed in the Terran pretty well. The problem with the boxed in Terran is they just get angry and then they move out and shoot you in the face. So you need to make sure you have enough units to deal with that. Alright, so we've got more shuttles and zealots and side shuttles, which is good. I think just having that threat is going to constantly keep Terran on their toes. We are still a 3 bracing Protoss. Now at 12 minutes and 50 seconds we are going to become a 4 basing Protoss. How many gates? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 gates is pretty low. We don't see other units, we just see more shuttles. So he built a support bay purely for shuttle speed. It wasn't for Reavers. So I think the speed shuttles will be used for zealot drops and zealot bombs, which we've already seen, and potentially now storm drops, which is very popular among good players. I am far too useless to try and do something that fancy, but it is something that if you watch players at a top level, seems to be the main style now of PVT. Put Templars in shuttles, drop them in the battlefield, dump those storms on top of the tanks to weaken them and break the mechanical army that way. So it'll be very exciting to see if Nagnar tries that style of play. I think it's very, very hard. If you can do it, that's just more power to you, man. It's just exceptional. It really is. Okay, so we got some skirmishes about. I still like this little flank that we have, although the units that are on the field have reduced, and some of these vultures, because of their speed, are still able to get out. But he's got good visibility on everything that's happening. He's taken this base, which is a good one, and I think if he can take this base, he'll be in a very solid position. The biggest thing on Silphid, because it's a 3-player map, is who gets the other main. If Protoss gets the other main, you get the natural that comes with it, and both are full bases with plenty of minerals and gas, etc. So it makes Terran's life really, really hard, because then Terran's pretty much left with getting a mineral only, and then this other little mineral and gas base, and that's it. Not a lot of bases on this map. So Silphid is a map, in my view, that favors Protoss as the game goes on. So it's pretty even all the way along. But as the game draws on and as the bases become fewer, I think life for the Terran becomes progressively more difficult. Okay, so have we got this Arbiter Tech Tree? I still just see a Templar Archives. I don't see a Stargate. So I think we're going to see the Templar style drops. I don't see any. There are the Templars on the field, so I see them now for the first time. There's only a couple. I don't know where his... there they are. Here's the shuttles. Okay, so there's 2 in there. Here it is. Here's our first attempt at a Templar drop. Let's go, Nag. Don't let me down, mate. I've talked you up so much. You've got to smash this now like a pro. Let's go. 1, 2, storm! 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 There we go! We got it! We got 2! Hey, boss. Although I think he might have achieved maybe 8 SCVs. I feel like more SCVs should have died there. That was really cool. Alright, so I don't understand the maths on these. So a shuttle was 200 minerals, another shuttle was 200 minerals. So 400 minerals plus the 200 on zealots plus the High Templar, which is 300 gas, 100 minerals. So he spent, I don't know, 900 minerals in gas to get 8 SCVs. You tell me if it's worth it. And now he's pissed off the Terran because he's unsieging everything and he's now want to go wreck him. So if it's if you're after triggering the Terran to move out, then that's what you've managed to achieve. And what are we moving out with? We're moving out with 2-1 to face 1-0 ground. I think Nag has stopped with his upgrades, although he's just about to finish +2, so not a fair statement. He's done the key Silphid move though, which is attempt to take the other main. He's maxed out, so if he can group his army well, have his High Templars in good positions to storm the clumped up tanks, he can potentially take a good fight here. But this is a lot of tanks with the vultures buffering beautifully. I think potentially a strategy is to nuke the buffering units with storm. It's counterintuitive. Your logic says to you storm the tanks because they are the big threat, they are the powerhouses. But if you get rid of the buffer, the units that are blocking your pathing to the tanks, then your life becomes a lot easier. So I'd love to see some storms going down in this fight on anything. At this stage we just seem to be losing our entire army as Protoss. There's some storms, well done. Okay, so he's dropped them on top and weakened a few, but didn't lose enough. So that trade went beautifully for Terran. Terran needs to reinforce though, because they're now pretty much only tanks. So I expect we will see a few rounds of Goliaths to combat the shuttles, vultures to rebuffer for the tanks, and then a couple more tanks to continuously increase that count off of his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fact production. He's only got 2 machine shops, so he can only make 2 tanks at a time anyway. So the advantage that Protoss has is if they can whittle down this tank count, it is going to be very hard for Terran to replenish it with tanks. So tanks will die and vultures will come out, which will make Nagnar's Dragoon management very, very important, because your initial engagement you need shitloads of zealots to fight these tanks. And then as you start to trade, tanks are being replaced with vultures, and therefore Dragoons become the most critical unit in the follow-up engagements in this matchup. Alright, so Terran, after identifying that they took a really good trade in that first fight, is now trying to move forward and take some map control and pressure the expansions of the Protoss. I think this is a very good move. I think this Nag is now setting up for a flank, but here comes some reinforcing tanks, and this is looking very scary for Protoss. He's got a lot of very grumpy, very strong tanks. He's actually keeping a large chunk of them in tank mode to pick off the zealots. And in fact, there's so few Dragoons here that he can pick off those in tank mode as well. He's sieged 5, and now he's sieging up the rest. And I think he's sieging here because this is a very nice position to take control of from a Terran point of view. If you can control this, then the pressure, you can just reinforce and slowly leapfrog across here and take out the second main, which I think is a critical objective for Terran. They need to get this done in order to win this match, because Nag is just going to be able to relentlessly reinforce with the economic advantage that he has, unless Terran can take that second main and natural. He's got both. So what sort of production reinforcement capacity we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So we've got about 16 gates. That is a lot. And so it is very, very important for Terran to manage these engagements efficiently. And I think he's short of a few vultures here. There's absolutely nothing buffering for his tanks. Here they come, but they're too late. I think Nag is going to pick off a critical number of tanks. He's going to have 5 left, maybe. Oh, and he's only down at 110. So Terran is really, really in a strong position. I think Nag's just got to accept that this is going to die, and accept that it's the one thing he does have going for him is it does take a little bit of time for them for Terran to kill a base, and use that time to build up an army again. How many gateways has he got queued? 11. Okay, so he's 11 gateways queued. He's got another shuttle coming. He's taking another gas and another base. Where is he taking another base? No, it's just that one there, which is now gone. Alright, so this base is under threat. It's fortified by mines. Very hard for Nag to get to it. What is he gonna do here, man? It's just, I mean, he's wrecked. I don't see how he fights back. He's gonna have to just watch all of this die. He's got some units here which will slow the Terran down, especially in this choke. But I mean, where's the observer? There. Okay, so he's gonna pick off his mines. What does he have reinforcing? And where's it coming from? Okay, so these some units are rallying out here. That Nexus is gone. Anything coming from this side is just going to be wrecked by entrenched tanks. He's going to need so many units from both sides, although I think this flank is working. He's done very well to pick off, and it's mainly vultures here, which means that the fact that he's bringing in predominantly dragoons from this side is going to be the difference maker. He's going to clean this up. He's going to stop the bleeding. So he's bled off 3. 1, 2. So he's bled off 2 bases instead of 3. He potentially could have lost 3 bases. It's not going to be too difficult for him to retake at least this base. I don't think trying to take both is necessarily the right approach. Armies are still even. The worker count, though, for Terran is just hugely different, which does mean that Nag's got more of an army advantage. But shuttles that are not empty, I don't know if having these shuttles full, or when he filled them up, would have necessarily been the best call while he was having those bases wrecked. But at a certain point, if Terran just gets into a position with tanks that are sieged up, you just got to let them have it, because trying to defend a base can be counterproductive to your cause as a Protoss. It's something that I have taken incredibly long to learn in this match. I've always just tried to defend a base. Sometimes you just got to let it die, man, and try and take a base somewhere else. Okay, so he's holding up this position. I don't think that he's going to take this yet. I think the first objective will be to re-establish this one. Be interesting to see if he does anything here. But I think the purpose of the pylon wall is two-pronged. One, potentially have it there for when he wants to take the space later, or two, and I think more importantly, to have vision on whether Terran takes the space. Because if Terran takes the space, it's game over. And I think Nag has successfully identified this, and therefore the pylons are there to scout that critical part of the game. Is when Terran tries to take the space. That's when that will trigger a big fight, and probably might be where this game ends, will be for the fight for the space. He is going to have a go at taking it. Not a bad idea. If you know Terran needs a base, then make it hard for them to take it yourself. Alright, so he's gone in here against 3-2 mech in a little bit of a conga line style. I don't see any shuttles at Storm. I think he's just trying to take this with pure 3-2 ground, and it's not going to go too well or too badly. I suppose it was a relatively neutral trade, although I'd probably give the edge on that one to Terran. Okay, so this main's still going like a Boeing. He's getting some High Templars out here. He is poised to take this base, but hasn't taken it yet. Are there any big fights still going to come through? Let's see. Alright, so here comes a shuttle with some Storm in it. I don't know if it's just a transfer of Templars as a defensive unit. It's just going to park off here in the base for now. Here comes the command center into a critical new base for Terran. Does Nag see this? Does he see this? I was giving so much attention to this one, and I didn't once think about him trying to take this one, which is the most natural, considering this is where his rally is. This is where his units will come to. So, interestingly enough, it's so close to this base that drops in here to harass may well be an option that Nag considers pursuing. Okay, so we're in this new setup phase of the game. Units are moving around here, there, and everywhere. He still hasn't taken this. He's just kind of poised to do it. Has he scouted that the space is up and running? This is so important. Kind of moving his units up and down here. Yep, there it is. There it is. He knows. He knows. And he storms the bejesus out of those SCVs. That was 20 nearly SCVs done. Brilliant. And now he storms himself to death as a prize. Oh, he got away. That was awesome. Got 2 more though. That was fantastically done. So my question, why is he moving the shuttle with the 2 Templars over here? Beautifully answered and very, very well done. So the value of getting the base was one thing, but to take out that volume of SCVs when you would need to transfer from a battlefield to get more there, that's just clutch play, man. Really, really clutch play. Well done. And now he's ahead. He's managed to re-establish this base and this base. Has he taken this? And he's taken this after that storm drop. That was critical. So another transfer is happening here. Terran has moved some units here to protect this transfer. But now we have a big fight with storms and retreating tanks that were not sieged up in a fortified position. Nag is going to pounce on these tanks before they siege. There's not a lot of zealots though, and he decides to pull back, which I think was the right decision. I think one more good big fight and Protoss have got this game. But if it's a bad engagement, potentially Terran get back into it. So let's see what happens. Moving his units around again, repositioning. I think Terran is fortifying this base now because they're understanding how important this is. Okay, there's nothing there, so I think he's now going to move slightly further forward. Maybe in front of these mines would be where I recommend he entrenches his army. Or maybe behind over here is also fine. Alright, so here comes another shuttle. I honestly... I wasn't sure about the shuttle play tactic because I can't do it myself, but wow. I understand why it's so popular because it really is super effective. He got it out! He got it out! Can you believe it? That is oh wow. That is... That's great. Really nicely done, Nag. Alright, and now we've got Templars defending the ramp. So if Vultures come up here to harass, they're going to get stormed into oblivion. If tanks siege up down here, they're going to get stormed into oblivion. And he's setting up for the big fight. A couple of zealot bombs, but there's no mines to drag. So no mines surrounding. He's pulling back again. I must say my compliments to both players. There's been a lot of patience shown on both sides. A lot of dynamic play with the shuttle side from Protoss, and Terran's macro and just general understanding of when to press, when not, when to deny bases has also been excellent. So this is just a really good example of high quality NWL tournament play, and I'm just thrilled to be able to bring it to the world. So I've enjoyed this one, and I think we're on the brink of an exciting final fight that's going to bring this one to an end, because Terran is the one that is economically on a clock. You've got a natural that's running out, you've got some minerals here. This one's back up and running, but Protoss has just got a lot of money. Alright, here comes the fight. At least Terran has put themselves in a position. Oh, another drop. Oh, he got 2 storms off again, and the Templar's still alive. Oh man, this is so annoying. I think Cavapoo's going to have nightmares about Templars in his mineral line for like the rest of his days, man. It's so tilting. So Nag is just focusing on this most critical source of income and just denying it over and over and over and over again, which I imagine is frustrating the crap out of the Terran. If he really wanted to be a douche, he could come in here and drop here, which he's got an observer here, so that may well be what he does next. His pathing to fly here would just be behind this, straight here, so it wouldn't be hard to do. Here comes a big fight though. I think he's going in for the kill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tanks. Oh, it's going to be close. It's only dragoons. And so he's pulling away. Okay, well done. Well done. Keeping his money low. He does have a bit of a gas bank. Terran now understanding that with this constant harassment on this base, he's going to have to get himself another expansion. Terran also understanding that because he's expanded, he's going to have to split up his tanks. This does give an opportunity though for Protoss to attack at a certain angle. Here we go, he's going to do it. No, he's just dropping zealots. Oh, he's identified there's nothing here. Oh, he's not going to. 2 here. And then, are you going to drop any here? No. But he's just sending zealots in. And Terran's not responding. Terran's not responding. Okay, so now he's sending in some vultures to tidy this up. This endless harassment of this base is really what's winning Nag this game. Okay, so he's moving across more UCVs. Just poised, just chilling with a few groups here, there, and everywhere. Taking another base here. It's got so many healthy bases. This one's running low, but this one's new. This one's new. I think there's another base here that he could potentially take. That's why there's a vulture scouting it. This is still going okay. This is still going okay. Terran has got the constantly harassed base, which, as I say it, is getting harassed again. And Terran has got this base. And that's it. There's a handful of minerals here. And nothing else. And once again, he has actually not only got these SCVs to clear out, but he's managed to pick off a few tanks with Templars from the top side. Terran's trying to establish this base, but I just don't think that Nag's going to let this come up. I think he's going to flank from 2 sides, pick off the remaining tanks, assuming he can get strong enough army. I think this is a good angle because if he doesn't move his tanks, then his natural, where all his production is going to be under threat. And that's the plan. The plan is, okay, you can defend your sources of income, but I'm just going to move in here and kill all your factories if you don't mind. The mines are slowly being chewed through. There's no observer here, but it doesn't really matter. He's going to pick off this one remaining tank here. Here comes the obs. And he's just going to walk straight in the front door. The risk is if he moves these tanks, and that's why we GG's. If he moved these tanks out from defending these positions, then Nag was just going to kill these positions. The Nag solution is, okay, well, you can't defend your main where all your production is, so that's where I'm going to attack. That was an excellent game. Really enjoyed that. Well played to both players. If you enjoyed the cast, like I said, please remember to like, share, subscribe. I'm here twice a week with excellent Brood War content like this. Until next time, I'm Rabbit Roo. I'll see you soon.